Happiness is not a destination. Happiness is a decision, a state of mind. Happiness comes from your thoughts. It's how you think about your circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. Hey everyone, this is Renee Frey from Talent Q, and you're listening to the Conscious Professional Podcast. More people than ever want to be happy in their career and personal life, but they're going about it all wrong. I'm here to set the record straight and emphasize the importance of prioritizing your mindset. I'm thrilled you're here. Hi friends, today's episode is a special one because it comes straight from a powerful week I've had, filled with meaning, connection, reflection, and a reminder of where true happiness really comes from. Last week, I shared how important it is to keep your network alive, both inside your company and outside of it. And wouldn't you know it, the universe gave me the perfect example to bring that lesson to life. This week, I had coffee with an old Target colleague, someone I hadn't seen in 17 years. 17! We used to work together back in the day when I helped him hire some great people for his team. And like they say, when you know good people, you know good people. We picked up right where we left off, caught up on our careers, talked about our families, and explored how we could support each other now. We laughed, we reflected, we swapped stories about mutual connections, and offered to help one another. Because that's what strong networks do. It was a simple coffee meetup, but it reminded me of something profound. Time doesn't erase authentic connection. If you've been putting off reaching out to someone, maybe it's been years, let this be your sign. Take the action. Don't let fear or the what if stop you. Reach out. You'll be surprised how quickly that connection comes rushing back. This experience inspired me to kick off a 3-part series on LinkedIn with Talent Q Insights, our newsletter, focused entirely on networking. So if you want real talk, practical tips, and examples from the trenches, connect with me on LinkedIn and subscribe to the Talent Q Insights newsletter. If you're feeling hesitant about reaching out to anyone and you've got these thoughts in your head like, they won't remember me, what will they think of me since I haven't stayed in touch with them? Just take a page from my playbook and reach out. Take the action because you are going to be so thankful that you did, and the connection you had in the past is going to come immediately back. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about happiness. There are so many people waiting for the perfect job, waiting to pay off all their debt, waiting for a partner to complete them, waiting for something to make them happy. And let me set the record straight. What I've learned after 2 decades of deep inner work, happiness is not a destination. Happiness is a decision, a state of mind. Happiness comes from your thoughts. It's how you think about your circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. So I've made it my mission to be the happiest in my life in the present moment at all times. Now, do I achieve this at all times? No, I think that's virtually impossible. However, majority of the time, I am in an elated, joyful, happy state. And I want to fill you in on how I've done this for myself so that maybe you can take some of the things that resonate with you that I do and apply them into your life so you can start being happier in this instant. Now, I've always called myself an ultimate optimist. Now, I should probably take a step back. Don't get me wrong. I'm not coming to you from some perfect, pain-free life. Quite the opposite, my friends. I've faced more than my fair share of darkness. I have faced it all. I grew up with an alcoholic father who didn't participate in my life, didn't attend any of my sporting events, didn't attend my graduation nor my wedding. My mom is deaf, so that's a whole different ball game. She's an incredible person, my rock for sure. I had a very traumatic childhood. My dad was never around. I think in my entire life, he's told me he's loved me twice. Clearly, he has a hard time expressing emotions, and I can only imagine the childhood he must have had. I witnessed his emotional, abusive nature towards my mom and towards us kids. And when my mom finally left my dad for good, I was then the free school lunch girl, the free sports girl, the free yearbook girl. Thank God the school had programs for that. Otherwise, I would have went hungry. I was sexually assaulted as a teenager, later was anorexic. Then in college, which I started at the University of Minnesota, which I realized in year 2 was way too big for me. So I decided to transfer to UW River Falls, which was much smaller. And during this time in my life with the move, I also had insomnia and I fell into a deep depression. I've lost a close friend who died in his 30s, which was one of the most heartbreaking losses I've ever experienced. Lost one of my nephews. I had a business partner quit. You name it. I've gone through this shit, okay? So when I say I understand the pain, I really do because I've lived it. But I also transformed it. Through all the pain, all the heartbreak, I always see there's a silver lining. I've gotten way better at this as I've done deep into mindset growth, mindset work, which I've been really going into. And my ultimate optimism came from when I was depressed as a young 20-something who was in my junior year of college. I went to see a physician, and thank God he was smart enough. I had all this shit going on with my body, like I was thirsty all the time. I couldn't sleep. There were all these flipping symptoms I was having, and the doc just looked at me, really looked at me, and he leaned in, and he said, "Are you okay, Renee?" That moment cracked me wide open. I burst into tears and started bawling because him asking me that question, and my response was, "No, I'm not okay." And then he was like, "Let's get you the help you need." That led me to therapy, where a psychologist handed me a book that changed my life. It's called Feeling Good, The New Mood Therapy by Dr. David Burns. That book introduced me to cognitive behavioral therapy and the power of our thoughts to shape our feelings. And it became the launch pad for my personal mission to become the happiest person I know. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It took practice and a lot of work, patience and support. But I made a vow to myself I would not let life steal my joy. I recommend this book to everybody because it literally changed my life. When I learned about cognitive behavior and mindset, that book sprung me out of the depression. Now, I make it sound super easy, and it was not that easy. I had an army of people who cared deeply about me. So when I was depressed, and the people that know me really well, they know I'm 100% extroverted. People give me energy. I'm extremely outgoing. I love connecting with people. I love spending quality time with others. And when I was depressed, I wouldn't even leave my flipping house. So my 2 dear friends, I will never forget this. They came over and forced me to go out with them. They took me out with them and forced me to go have coffee with them. And I didn't want to go because at the time I was having extreme anxiety about leaving my flipping house, which normally if anyone asked me to do something, I'm like, hell yeah, what time do I need to be there? I'm there. So this was really challenging, the most challenging times, one of the most in my life. And I'll remember when I was depressed, it felt like I was sinking deeper and deeper into this hole. It was like a hole opening up in the middle of the earth. And I kept going deeper and deeper, and I couldn't see the outside. I couldn't see the light. That's how I felt. I felt like I was suffocating and my whole world was closing in on me. And I never had the most negative thoughts in my life as I did at that time. My mom was super encouraged me to get up out of bed every day, to get dressed. She helped me so much. And with all the trauma she had to deal with my emotionally abusive, alcoholic dad, she admitted to me that she's been depressed too. So she knew how to help me. But with that and my support system and the psychologist and the book, I eventually bounced back out of it. And after having gone through that experience and being depressed, I vowed. I was like, I don't ever want to be depressed again. I don't ever want to feel that again. And now I can see the signs coming. I know what it feels like now. I know the tendencies that if I go through this downward spiral of negative thoughts and yada, yada, so that book from Dr. Burns teaches you how to reframe your thoughts. And I've been on this deep quest to continuously be the happiest person I can be because I feel this life is my one golden ticket. Yeah, like American Idol. This is my one life I have, and I'm going to live the F out of it, and I'm going to live my best life, and I don't want to have any regrets. I always tell everyone that when I die, every single person I know will say, she lived life to the fullest because they know me. And a little side note, my middle name is Joy. So anyway, that book was a springboard for me to become the ultimate optimist. And just like everything else, you have to practice. Like going to the gym, putting in the reps to build muscles, put in the reps on your mindset. I didn't just have positive thoughts overnight. I had to continuously practice. And I gotta say, now I've gotten really good at it. I've mastered it. So if you haven't checked out how you can change your negative thoughts and be happier, I created a 5-day mindset detox that's totally free. You can find the link, grab it in the show notes, and how to download it. But I teach you how to reframe your negative thoughts. And that's really all it is. So how we perceive the world is based on how we see something. And every single one of us are having a different experience on this planet. So many people think if I get my dream job, I'll be happy. When I get the house, I'll be happy. When I make a certain amount of money, I'll be happy. All of this is utter BS thinking. Don't block your happiness today for some external stuff. The job, the house, the salary will not make you happy. Happiness exists inside of you, inside of your mind, hidden in your thoughts. Now, it's great to have goals and aspirations, to get the dream job, to buy your dream house, to make a certain salary. These are all great goals to have. But don't suppress your happiness until these things happen, because the happiness won't follow the dream job, house, or salary. Sure, you may have elated emotions and be excited when you get those things, but it's not long-lasting happiness. To get long-lasting happiness day in and day out is appreciation for everything that exists around you. Gratitude. The more grateful you are about what you have and who you are, the more you will be happy. Why can't you be happy today while you work to find your dream job? Why can't you be happy today while you work on building that nest egg to buy that house you see in your dreams? You can. When you chase purpose and meaning, this is where deep, long-lasting happiness comes from. Anytime you're feeling bad or negative or unhappy, move your attention to happiness. This is your place of power. You are most powerful when you are happy. When you are happy, you feel unstoppable. You feel more confident. Here's how I cultivate happiness now. I have a mindset practice. I actively reframe negative thoughts. I don't just think happy thoughts, I train them like muscles at the gym. I have a support system. I surround myself with people who bring light into my life and pull me out if I can't do it myself. Gratitude is a daily habit. Even when I'm doing the dishes, which I loathe, by the way, I reframe it with happiness. I'm lucky to have these dishes, this home, this family. Be grateful for it. And peak state work. Tony Robbins taught me intentionally to feel happiness. He had us close our eyes and relive joyful moments. And wow, that was powerful. I'm going to walk you through how to get into a peak state. You have to have your thoughts and emotions and feel it in your body. I remember at one of his seminars, he had us think about a moment in our life when we were most grateful. So for this exercise, let's turn it into most happy. Yes, I'm letting you know you can be happy right now. So if you're not driving, I'd like you to close your eyes. Think of one of the most happiest times in your life. Go back to that moment. Feel the emotions you were feeling. Look around. Who was there? For me, that day was the day I married Dustin. I felt like I was floating on a cloud. When we left the church after our ceremony, there was a double rainbow in the sky because it had been raining while we were getting married in the church. It was an extraordinary moment for me, marrying my best friend and soulmate. Now that you have that moment in your mind, I want you to think of another one. Keep your eyes closed. What's another moment in your life that you were over the top happy? Where were you? Who were you with? What were you doing? Go there now. My next one is a time my family and I were hiking the arches in Utah. We were on the trail to the Delicate Arch, and my youngest, super shy daughter, Elena, was being so brave and broke out of her shell. She was leading ahead hiking, totally being the lead, totally out of her character, and I loved it. Then Aubrey was behind her and Dustin, and I was in the back. So I shouted at them so I could take a selfie. And the moment I looked in the camera with all of us spread up the trail, my body exploded from my heart outwards. And I started bawling tears of joy. This is one of the moments that if I dropped dead, I would have been fine. It was a spectacular moment in my life. What's a moment like this for you now? Go there now. Relive it. Now, you can do this for one more. Go to another fantastic, joyful, happy moment in your life. For me, it was when Aubrey was born, when Dustin and I started our family. An unreal event. Happiness all around. I never knew I had so much love in me. All right, you can open your eyes now. You now have 3 happy moments you can pull from at any time you're feeling negative. At the snap of your fingers, you can go back to one of those joyful moments that you just went into and relive it. And that's how you get your mind focused back on happiness. What about the stuff we have to do that we don't enjoy? I'll talk about something super basic that I can't stand doing. I do not enjoy domestic tasks. I don't enjoy doing dishes. One of my sisters loves doing dishes, and I wish I could be like her because I hate dishes. Even though we have a dishwasher, there's certain knives and pans that you don't want to put in the dishwasher, whatever. And I got a family of 4, so when I have to do the dishes, I got to make it super fun. So you know what I do? I crank the tunes. I get the surround sound going. I get my rubber gloves on because I can't stand touching the stuff in the sink and having them soak in water. And I do the dishes. And every time I'm washing a dish, I think to myself, I'm so grateful I have these dishes to wash. Then when I'm drying them off, I dance around while I'm putting the dishes away in the cabinet. And then I look around my house and my kitchen and I'm like, God, I'm so grateful I get to live here. Gosh, what an awesome life I have. The most beautiful house. I live in a super safe community, so peaceful. I'm just happy. To get more happiness in your life, you have to know what makes you happy and do more of it. Life doesn't need to be a pain. We don't need to have to hate on ourselves. And if you're not feeling happy lately, ask yourself, why not? What makes you feel alive? What brings you joy? Grab a piece of paper and answer those questions. Jot it down. For me, it's dancing, sunset walks, boating on the St. Croix, riding bikes, playing games with my girls. So let me ask you, why aren't you doing more of that? We've been conditioned to believe we must earn happiness, but that's a lie. You don't need a promotion, a house, a relationship, or a certain number in your bank account to be happy. Those things may enhance your life, but they don't create happiness. Happiness comes from within, from appreciation, from presence, from choosing joy right now. Another quick tip I have for you, just smile. Seriously, breaking out a big, goofy, full-face smile. Now, I know that sounds overly simple, maybe even super cheesy, but hear me out. There's actual science behind this. Smiling, even when you don't feel like it, signals to your brain that something good is happening. It triggers the release of feel-good chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. These are the same chemicals responsible for feeling joy, reduced stress, and pain relief. It's what researchers call the facial feedback hypothesis. The idea that your facial expressions don't just reflect your emotions, they influence them. So here's what I want you to try. Next time you feel overwhelmed, annoyed, anxious, or just blah, take a deep breath, crack a smile. You might even say to yourself, I'm okay, I've got this. Better yet, pair that with some movement, stand up, do some jumping jacks, push-ups, dance it out, shake off the funk. And if you really want to go all in, smile at someone else. Your partner, your kid, the barista, a stranger walking their dog. Why? Because smiles are contagious. When you smile at someone, their brain responds like a mirror, and they're more likely to smile too. Now you just created a ripple of happiness, starting with your own face. So yeah, a smile might be small, but don't underestimate its power. It's free, it's fast, and it's one of the quickest ways to shift your state into a positive direction. So the key points from today's episode are: your past does not define your joy. You can experience deep trauma and choose happiness in the present. Happiness is a muscle. You must practice it through reframing, gratitude, and intentional thought. Do the reps, my friends. And you have the power to feel better now. You don't have to wait for a job, a relationship, or a milestone. Happiness lives inside of you already. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Share this episode with someone you love and go make one change to be better than you were yesterday. Live your life with intention. I believe in you. I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible. So if you would, please hit the follow button so we can grow our community of conscious professionals. Whether you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can find the button at the top of the page. See you next week, everyone. Cheers.